And good evening, everyone. Thanks for clicking on WDTV.com. I'm Carrie Lingaliotis.
And I'm Ben Katko. Here's the top stories we've been following on 5 News today. More details are still trickling in after police found a dead couple inside their Mon County home earlier this week in what appears to be a murder-suicide.
And investigators tell us it looks like Dennis Roy Sr. shot his wife, Dorothy, and then turned the gun on himself. Police got word of this around 10 o'clock on Monday morning when that somebody was inside the home on Merle Yost Road, and they called 911, but then they hung up. Now, investigators showed up at that house. They found the couple dead. Earlier this week, neighbors told us the two lived in that little white home for at least 30 years. Detectives told us it could be a little while until they get the results of the autopsies done on the couple.
A microwave is most likely to blame for a house fire in Harrison County today. It happened around 3:30 this afternoon at a home on Gregory's Run in Lumberport. The man who was there at the time said he put something in the microwave, then went outside to grab the mail. When he turned back around, he saw smoke coming out of the house. He and his dog, they got out just fine, but the house not so lucky. We are still waiting, though, to hear word on damages, but we do know smoke did take over the whole house.
Well, after months of looking, it appears police in Morgantown can finally stop searching for a man that they've been looking for who is apparently in connection to some sort of a sexual assault. That man has been arrested in Iowa. 23-year-old Michael Tarpey was arrested yesterday by police in the Hawkeye State. He was also wanted locally by detectives in the University City for an incident that happened last month. Investigators haven't said much about that incident. Tarpey faces additional charges, including malicious assault and nighttime burglary. Well, today we're learning about a cry for help from our state's 4 racetrack casinos.
Yeah, that's right. They say their business is hurting from competition in neighboring states, and they want lawmakers to cut them some slack in taxes and fees. A bill introduced today would also allow the 4 casinos to scale back racing operations to save cash. The measure would slash the annual fee casinos pay to host table games from $2.5 million to $1 million. Those fees are designed to benefit senior citizen programs. The bill would offset the revenue drop by tapping the purse fund that pays race winners. The state's share of table games proceeds would drop from 35% of gross receipts to 25% under the proposed bill. That would have cut state revenues by nearly $8 million during the last budget year. The bill would also reduce the minimum number of racing days to 150. We reported earlier this week that Wheeling Island has publicly said they're questioning the worth of table games.
Well, it looks like Governor Earl Ray Tomlin's prison reform bill has cleared its first major hurdle. We learned earlier today that it unanimously passed the Senate Judiciary Committee. And now that bill heads to the Finance Committee before it goes to a vote by the full Senate. Prison reform, along with education reform, is the highest profile issue on Governor Tomlin's agenda. The wide-range bill aims to ease overcrowding in prisons by increasing supervision and drug testing after release and reducing the number of inmates who are returned to prison for minor parole or probation violations. Now, some senators warned the state could be sued by prisoners because of the overcrowding if this bill doesn't pass. In other states, this has led to courts ordering a certain number of prisoners to be immediately released.
Production is resuming at a southern West Virginia coal mine where 2 men died within 2 weeks of each other. State and federal officials have approved the restart of Pocahontas Coal's Affinity Mine near Sophia. Edward Finney of Bluefield, Virginia, died on February 7th when he was pinned under a hoist he'd been moving trash into. John Miles of Hilltop was crushed by a scoop February 19th. Company officials say the first day back for each employee is being devoted to task retraining. Management says it's also reviewing safety protocols and maintaining close contact with workers. All right, let's take a quick look at what we're working on in the newsroom for Fox 10 at 10 and 5 News at 11 tonight. First up, we'll recap all the snowfall around the region last night and see how it's still affecting people around the area.
Plus, find out why some residents are seriously concerned about plans to build a motel in downtown Philippi. Hear from them tonight.
And that's what's making news this evening. Of course, be sure to tune in to Fox 10 at 10 with Carrie Lynn, 5 News at 11 with myself tonight for the latest news and weather.
Until then, have a great night.